welcome to Fashion Conversations Creative Musings. My name is Pam Samasuwo-Nyawiri and I'm a design practitioner and the creative director of a social enterprise, Vanhu. So the conversation of inclusion of Black designers in fashion has been going on for decades. It affects any designer of color, whether on the African continent or in the West. We live in a world in which the aspirations of Black designers in fashion are limited. And just a decade ago, being a Black woman in mainstream fashion was seen as a double challenge. And for me, it came with the obstacle of being one of very few in a room who looked like me. And it continues to happen. I remember a few years ago, after being nominated for the Vogue Talent Fashion Accessory Designer of the Year award, someone said to me that my work was too beautiful and my aesthetic incredibly minimal for a Black African. Furthermore, the narrative from the media houses to get me noticed on this platform was representing me as the first Black and African to ever be showcased on Vogue Talents. Looking back, this was highly offensive. Why could I not just have my name and my work there without labeling me and in the process highlighting a false inclusion? Throughout my fashion career, I have found myself constantly constructing conversations against this misguided sentiment of Black designers. There's this strange interpretation that the genre of my work is Black simply because I'm Black, and yet the color of my skin does not define my work, nor does my Africanness. Also, by saying that my work was too beautiful for an African revealed a negative value judgment about Blackness. Inclusion in spaces continues to lack balanced representation from people of color. And this is really problematic in that mainstream fashion have this ideology that fashion can only be represented through the likes of Vogue and mainstream fashion weeks, who essentially dictate who is relevant or not. Look at how every time fashion designers are brought up, the same name of the Ralph Lauren's, Calvin Klein's, Dior's and Gucci's come up. Is that really to say there are no Black brands or designers that have a strong representation in fashion but are never given the credit for being as influential as they are? I certainly don't have to make bags like Chanel to be acknowledged as a good designer. There isn't just one fashion aesthetic in the world. There are many, regardless of race and color or culture. So I have bulldozed myself into mainstream fashion. It would have been easier for me to gravitate towards those who look like me, as many times I find myself standing alone. However, I deserve to occupy any creative space as a human being first. And if it fits the shoe, a Black woman, and shouldn't have to apologize for it. I'm also aware of those who invite me to their tables only so that they are recognized as inclusive. And in the last few weeks after the Black Lives Matter events globally, I was approached by 5 mainstream magazines, and I began to see other Black designers showcasing how all these magazines were writing about them and encouraging their audiences to buy from them. I said no to each one of them. The fact that a global event has to happen to get that recognition and still be addressed as Black designers to buy from right now is embarrassing. I also feel that being a minority is what sets me apart from the rest. I have never waited to have my opportunities blocked because I created my own. And sometimes we put barriers on ourselves because we've been conditioned for years to wait to be told we are inclusive or we're important. Yes, we are underrepresented or unrepresented, and we continue to struggle for recognition. And our relationship with the fashion industry is pretty one-sided. But moving forward, we will still likely face many moments of bias in creative spaces, but I maintain that nothing can stop us from forging our own path in the fashion world. My work is purposeful and goes beyond appearing in fashion magazines to appease the guilt of others. It serves beyond the one fashion industry that closes the door in the face of people who look like me. Inclusion or not, I will blaze my trail.